Hi, and welcome to week 2 of the West Yorkshire Spinners Hidden Treasures Crochet Along. My name is Anna Nikipirowicz, and today I will show you how to make this beautiful square called a Forgotten Gem. As always, you will need a 4.5mm crochet hook, tapestry needle and scissors, and of course yarn. I'll be using the beautiful West Yorkshire Spinners Bow Peep Pure in colours Blush and Mist. You can download the pattern from West Yorkshire Spinners website, and of course if you like the video then please do like and subscribe. Let's get started. As with the previous square, we are going to start this one with adjustable ring or magic loop, however you wish to call it. I show you how to make it on the last video, so please do check it out. But for this one, create your adjustable ring and work 5 chains, which count as 1 treble and chain 2 space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And again, I am using UK terminology. In US, it will count as 1 double crochet and chain 2 space. Then we will work 3 trebles into the adjustable ring. Make sure you enclose your tail in those stitches. So 3 trebles. 1, 2 and 3. Oops. Followed by chain 2 and again 3 more trebles into the ring. Chain 2 and again 3 more trebles into the ring. I'm enclosing my tail all the time as I work. See, I'm enclosing this tail. So now you can see that we've got 3 lots of 3 treble groups. So now we're going to chain 2 and work 2 trebles into the ring. The reason we are working 2 is I will show you in a minute. Now we are ready to grab our tail and pull tight to close up the opening, to close up the center nicely, you see. So the reason we only work 2 at the end is because the 5 chains at the beginning counts as 1 treble. So joined together, it gives us the 4th treble group, you see. So we have 4 lots of 3 trebles. And now we are ready to join our round. We are going to slip stitch into the 3rd of the beginning 5 chains. So 1, 2, 3. So insert your hook into the stitch. Again, make sure you go underneath 2 strands of that chain. Grab your contrast yarn, place it on top of your hook, and finish off the slip stitch with your contrast yarn. So now it's ready for our next round. So our foundation round is finished. Now we are ready for round number 1, and we're going to slip stitch into the 1st chain space, so that will place us in a correct position for our 1st round. So now chain 5, and again it counts as 1 treble and chain 2 space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Work 2 trebles into the same space. So now what we're going to do is going to work 1 back post trebles around the post of each of those next 3 stitches. What I mean by the post, so usually you will go into the top of your stitch, but this time I want you to go around the stem of the stitch, you could call it, the actual post of the stitch. So yarn around the hook, insert your hook from the back to the front, to the back again, around the post of the next stitch. You see, so the hook kind of came from the front to wrap around it. Grab your yarn and pull it through. We have 3 loops on our hook. Yarn around the hook through 2 and yarn around the hook through remaining 2. You see, so you can see that the yarn is wrapped around the stem of the stitch, you see, and the edge, the top edge, just sits nicely at the front. So let's do this again around the next stitch. So yarn around the hook, around the post of the next stitch, so from back to front to back again, yarn around the hook and pull it through, 3 loops on hook, yarn around the hook through 2, and yarn around the hook through 2. One more time, yarn around the hook, around the stem of the stitch, grab your yarn and pull it through 2 and through 2. So you can see now that it created a lovely edge which sits nicely at the front. So the top of the stitches create a lovely edge, and you can see the yarn that is nicely wrapped around the post of the stitches. So now we are going to work 2 trebles, chain 2, 2 trebles into our corner space. So 2, chain 2, and 2 more trebles into the corner space. And now again we come to our treble group. So again we're going to work back post trebles around each of those stitches. So yarn around the hook again from the back to the front to the back again around that post of that stitch. Oh, something cut. Yarn around the hook through 2, yarn around the hook through 2. And let's repeat that around the next 2 stitches. And then corner space, 2 trebles, chain 2, 2 more trebles. See, it's looking really pretty. You can see this lovely effect it creates. So repeat this on the 2 other sides, and I will meet you here when we are almost ready to slip stitch to join our round. So now before we are ready to finish off our round, we need to work 1 more treble into the very first chain space, the same chain space which is housing the 5 big chains from the beginning. So yarn around the hook into the beginning space, and then now we are ready to slip stitch into the 3rd of the chain 5. So 1, 2, 3. Place your yarn to the right, pick up your contrast yarn, and finish off the slip stitch with your contrast yarn. There we go. And now we are ready for our round number 2. So we start the same as before. We will slip stitch into the first chain 2 space. We will chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and work 2 trebles into the same space. See, so we've got our center three trebles and 2 trebles. So in those first 2 trebles, we're going to work just a normal treble to each one of those 2. 1, 2. And now around our center 3 trebles, we're going to work front post treble. It works on the same idea as the back post, but this time from the front. So yarn around the hook, insert your hook from front to back to front again around the post of the next stitch. Grab your yarn and pull it through. Yarn around the hook, pull it through 2, and yarn around the hook, pull it through remaining 2. And if you have a look, this creates a lovely kind of like almost a twisted stitch around that treble. It's very pretty effect. So let's do this again. Yarn around the hook, from the front to the back to the front, around the post of the next stitch. grab your yarn and pull it through 2 and then through remaining 2. One more time. So we've done our center 3 trebles. Now we're going to work 1 treble into the next 2 stitches. So 1 and 2. And now we come to our corner space, which will house 2 trebles. Oh, I forgot to do a yarn over. Chain 2 and 2 more trebles, all into the corner space. So now repeat exactly the same thing along all the other 3 sides, and I will meet you back here when we are ready to almost join our round. See you soon. So when you have finished all your sides, you mustn't forget that the chain 3 from the previous one counts as 1 treble. So we have to work 1 treble into that stitch as well, because otherwise our number will not be correct. You see, so we've done our front post trebles, then we've got our 2 trebles, and again we have to work 1 more treble into the very first chain space, the same one which houses the 5 chains from the beginning. And now we are ready to slip stitch to join our round. So again, slip stitch into the 3rd chain of this chain 5, change color, so finish off the slip stitch with your brand new color, and now we are ready for our next round, which is round number 3. So again, slip stitch into the first chain space, chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and this time it counts as 1/2 treble and chain 2 space. So half trebles in UK, in US is half double crochets. And now we're going to work 1/2 treble into the same space. So this time it's only 1. So let me show you how it's done. So yarn around the hook, into the stitch, grab your yarn and pull it through. 3 loops on hook, yarn around the hook and pull it through all 3. So all 3 of those loops on your hook. So that's our half treble. So now what we are going to do, we're going to work 1 front post treble around the post of each of the next 2 stitches. So yarn around the hook, remember around the post of the first stitch, from front, because you'll be working front post, and then the same thing around the next stitch. See, so again around the post of the stitches. So now what we are going to work is work 1/2 treble into the next 2 stitches. So not around the post, but this time we are going into the top of the next 2 stitches. So 1/2 treble and another one. And now we come to our center trebles, you see? So now we are at the stage of our center trebles. So we will work front post trebles around each of those 3 center trebles. So yarn around the hook, around the post of the stitch, so from front to back to front, and finish off your double crochet as normal. And twice more, so 1 and 2. You see, so we've got 2 front post, 2 normal half trebles, and 3 front post trebles. So now again we have to do 2 half trebles, so 1 half treble into the next 2 stitches, 1 and 2. And then we're going to work 1 front post trebles around the post of the next 2 stitches. You see? So now we come to our corner chain space, and that will house 1 half treble, chain 2, and 1 more half treble. So again, we need to repeat on each side what we have done on this side, but let me show you one more side and then you can do the rest by yourself. So 1 front post treble around the next 2 stitches, 1, 2, then 1 half treble in the next 2 stitches, one front post treble around the next 3 trebles, one half treble in the next 2 stitches, and then we've got 2 stitches left on that side, so we're going to work 1 front post treble around each of those stitches. And then in the corner we're going to work half treble, chain 2, and 1 more half treble. See? It's looking really lovely, and you can see those raised stitches. So repeat on the other 2 sides, and remember you have to work your front post treble around this stitch here as well, because this is our chain 3 from last round. And I will see you back here when we are almost ready to join. So now that we have finished all the sides, we have to slip stitch to the second of the beginning chain 4 and finish off the slip stitch with your contrast color. There we go. And now we are ready for our round number 4. So again, slip stitch into the first chain space, chain 4, which counts as 1 half treble and chain 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to work 2 half treble into the same space. So 2 half trebles, and now we are going to work back post treble around the next 5 stitches. So yarn around the hook, from the back to the front to the back again around the post of your next stitch, grab your yarn and pull it through, and finish off the treble as normal. Yarn around the hook, around the next stitch, around the post of the next stitch, and finish off as normal. You see, it's creating a lovely edge. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So that's our 5 stitches. So if you look at them, you see the stitches from the previous round, the top of the stitches from the previous round created a lovely edge, and you see the yarn wrapped around the post of those stitches. So now we come to our center 3 trebles. So around the center we are going to work 1 front post treble around the next 3 stitches. So front post trebles from front to back to front around the post of the next stitch, yarn around the hook and pull it through, 3 loops on hook, yarn around the hook through 2, and yarn around the hook through 2, and twice more, 1 and 2. See, Looks really lovely. So now what we have to do, we have to work one back post treble around the next 5 stitches. So again, around the post of those next 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So you can look at this and it looks really lovely. It's very effective. And now we come to our corner space, which will work 2 half trebles, 2 chains, and 2 more half trebles. And now we have to repeat on each side exactly what we have done here. So I'm going to show you one more time. So 1 back post treble around the next 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then we come to our center 3 trebles. So we're going to work 1 front post treble around those stitches. 1, 2, and 3. And now again we have to do 1 back post treble around the next 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And we come to our corner chain space, and that requires 2 half trebles, chain 2, and 2 more half trebles, all into the same space. So our second side is completed and they're looking rather wonderful. So repeat the same thing on the other 2 sides, and I will see you when we are about to join. When you have finished all the sides, remember we have to work 1 more half treble into the first chain space, and then we are ready to slip stitch. And with slip stitching, we're going to finish our slip stitch with our main yarn. We can cut off our contrast now because we won't need it anymore. And now we are ready for our 5th and final round. So again, slip stitch into the first chain space. Now we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, which counts as 1 double crochet and chain 2. You can actually weave in the end in your stitches as you work. Now we're going to work 2 double crochet into the same space. So in US that's single crochet, and then 1 double crochet all the way until your next chain 2 space. And now we come to our next corner chain space, and we're going to work 2 double crochets, chain 2 and 2 more double crochet into the same space. So that's our corner. And again, 1 double crochet into every single stitch to end. In your corner chain space, 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet, and repeat this all the way around. And I will see you back here when we are almost ready to join. So now that you have completed all the sides, remember the last stitch has to be worked in the top of the chain 2 at the end of last round, the one where we slip stitch into the top of chain 2. So all we have to do now is work 1 more double crochet into the very first chain space, and then slip stitch to the first of the 3 chains at the beginning. Fasten off. So cut your yarn, pull the yarn through, and now we are ready to weave in. Make sure that when you're weaving in, as with the first square, you go around and then back on yourself, just to pull the center really nicely and make sure it's secure so it doesn't open up again. I hope you enjoyed this square. If you have, then please like and subscribe, and you can get the pattern from West Yorkshire Spinners website, and I will see you here next week for square number 3.